say Lashawan.
Let me know when we're good.
Good to go.
Live? Okay. Shalom, everybody. Yahweh Shem Shai Thumb to the brothers. Yahweh Shema Thumb, Lashawan fans and sisters, right? Today is Friday. Friday is the Lashawan Qadasdh Hebrew class, all right? Lashawan Qadasdh. One sister can come over if you feel like me to see the board there, right? The Lashawan Qadasdh. All right. That's the name of today's class, right? Lashawan Qadasdh. Right? This is a term which means the holy tongue. As you know, when it comes to everybody's languages, everybody will have a name for their own language. Just like you go to China, they don't say that their language is Chinese. If you say China or Chinese to them, they don't know what you're talking about. The Chinese say their language is called Zhongwu-Ren, right? That's the name of their language that they call their language. Of course, they got their own dialects, about 8 or 7 or 7.5, based on what they say, right? Our language is called the Lashawan Qadasdh, right? Lashawan, rooted in the word Lashan, right? Lashan means tongue, right? Lashan means tongue, all right? Qadasdh is the word which is most directly translated as holy, and holy just means separate. All right, that's what Qadasdh is, right? Separate, all right? So in other words, as the Lord separated the nations, right, and separated the cultures between the nations, right, everyone had their own separate language. Now in our language, what we would call separate, or the separate tongue in our language, would be our language. So we name our language the separate tongue, the holy tongue, right? Which everyone knows, today everyone will call the Hebrew, right? Hebrew, right? Which is a transliteration of the word Eber, right? And in the ancient tongue, or the Lashawan Qadasdh, will be pronounced as I-bar, right? I-bar. And I-bar is a word which means past, right? Past, from the past, all right? Okay. On that, let me see if there's anything in the concordance that we might like to get from that word or that term, I-bar. I know a lot of people love that word. A lot of people throw it around, and you know what I mean. So we're just gonna get a full, quick investigation, right? As I get the Kindle app on my tablet, right? I got the concordance. I got the Concordance for everybody online. I got the concordance app on my Kindle on my tablet, right? I bought a Strong's concordance for like $1.99. All right. You can also get the book. The book is on Amazon. I think it might be $12 or $16, but you need a Strong's concordance for studying Hebrew, right? Because the Strong's concordance is like your dictionary for the Hebrew language as it pertains to the Bible. All right, the Holy Scriptures. All right. Okay, so we need I-bar, right? Okay. So this is I-bar. I-bar. There we go. All right, so we're in concordance code 5674, right? So all of this right here, right, is concordance code H5674. All right. And it's defined as a primitive root to cross over Used very widely of any transition, literally or figuratively, transitive, intransitive, so forth, to alienate, right? To alter at all, beyond, bring, carry, carry over, conduct, convey over, current, deliver, right? It goes on, right? Perish, provoke to anger, put away, rage, remove, pass, passage, pass along, pass away, all right? So that's what the word ibar means, right? To pass a region across, used adverbially with or without a preposition on the opposite side, especially of the Jordan, usually meaning the east, beyond, or this side, or past onto the other side. All right. So with the there is lucky. I'm just there is lucky. So let's pick one. Okay. So it will be more better defined as past, right? A word that we can use to define the overall matter. All right. The past. All right. When you pass over something, everything else is in the past. All right. Good, right? Lashan is tongue. We have the tent in the middle of Lashawan that came from Lashan, right? Which is the Wa right here. I know a lot of brothers from you know, the fellow students that created their own Israelite groups. They don't know what the Wa is. Right? They don't know what the Wa is. So they throw it around and they'll say stuff like Shalawam, not understanding Hebrew, right? Wa in the middle of a word is like saying ing, right? In other words, it's what makes it a verb, right? It's a doing word, all right? So when you have your tongue in your mouth, right? When it's moving, when it is in action, not when you're eating. When you're eating, you require the chomp effect, right? You need, you know, your teeth and all that. But your tongue itself is the thing that makes you talk. So when your tongue is in action, right? The action word or the verb, right? Or the action word, right? The action of the tongue is the language of that tongue, right? As you, if anyone here has tried to speak another language, sometimes you have to mold the flex of your tongue in a different way, or you're gonna speak their language with your accent, right? You have to edit the way your tongue moves, which you will learn over time when studying a people's language, right? So you can get your tongue to move like their tongue, to make the same action, all right? And that is the word Lashawan, right? And that thing goes for all other words, right? So here we have Ibar, which means pass. If I wanted to say passing, what would I say? Ibor. Ibor. All right. Ibar. War. Right? Which would be like saying passing with an ing. All right, let's get another word. All right, we got a door over there, right? Door is the lock, right? Open the door. Open is pathak. All right, pathak with a ch. Pathak, right, is the word for open. All right. If I wanted to say opening, or the door is opening, how would I say opening? Pathawak. Pathawak. Right? Pathawak. I hope everybody online is following, all right? Pathawak, opening, all right? Opening with an ing, right? Suppose I wanted to say, the greeting Shalom. What does Shalom mean? Okay. It means peace. Shalom means peace. Now suppose I said, yo, we need to have a peace agreement with those other brothers down there, because we've been to war, for many years. We need to go over there and create a P-sync with them. How would I say P-sync? Huh? It will be Shalawam, right? It will be Shalawam, all right? So Shalawam is not the greeting. Shalom is the greeting. Shalawam is turning the greeting or the word peace into a verb, all right? Which is a verb, which is like piecing, ing, right? Of course, in English, there's no such word as piecing, only in your black neighborhood, right? Where whatever gang is there, they got something called piecing, right? You know what I mean? Okay. What else? Okay, let's get down the whole breakdown of why break-off groups, right? From the failed students that didn't know Hebrew, hanging out in the doorsteps of 1 West 125th Street, couldn't get upstairs because everybody loved the school back in the day, right? So a lot of people couldn't get upstairs. They tried to learn what they could from sitting on the steps in the hallways. Brothers tried to aid them by giving them speakers that look like this one, right? For those online, we have a speaker, the same speakers that we have at camp. Brothers try to aid them by putting speakers down in the stairs, right? So the brothers down in the stairs could get from the class. Of course, down in the stairs, there's not as much discipline as in the classroom. There's no one to check you on the stairs. Brothers will be quarreling, talking with each other. Everybody is not getting the full depth of the lesson that was given by the various teachers. Hebrew might have been a head priest, Ariana, right? He was a man that did the Sabbath service. You need to know the Sabbath service. All other teachers out there, you gotta try to get more intricate or more intimate with the Sabbath services, because that is where you're gonna gain your vocabulary. All right, you're gonna apply what you learn on Friday, get the tenses, get the prepositions, right? Get your grammar, and then you're gonna apply it to the Sabbath service, right? It's like Hebrew 101, and then Sabbath service is Hebrew 102. Right. When brothers go into Sabbath service not knowing no Hebrew, it's like going to Hebrew 102, right? Without the tools that you understand what's going on in the classroom. You gotta get your prerequisite down packed. All right? Okay, good. So now you have what people call the Masorites. All right? The Masorites. All right, as a matter of fact, we should get that a definition on Google right quick, right? You want to get it?
Masorites?
Please. Masorites. Who these people were. All right? We would like to get books on them. I don't think we have the books on deck at the moment. Right? We might have them with the camp books, not sure. Right? Now is not the best time to look for it. I didn't know it's going to go into this, right? Maybe another day. We'll see with the our favorite librarian, Captain Qadasdh, for a good book on the Masorites, right? Or off the bond, right? Let me know when you're ready.
It said the Masorites were groups of Jewish scribes, scholars.
Hold on. The Masorites are a group of Jewish scribes. That's one. Jewish scribes, meaning these are people that take or handle the records, right? And by Jewish, we're talking about the Caucasian man who's converted to a Jew, all right? There's no difference between the Caucasian man that was in the Khazarian Empire. Today you might have called him Polish, or what is that, West German, right? Wherever the Jewish people lived before they through the European powers, really the British, right? Who had it be determined that their religion was now their race, all right? There's no difference in a Caucasian between a Jewish Caucasian, a French Caucasian, a Spaniard Caucasian, Portuguese, French, German, Italian, Russian, Polish, Czech Republic Caucasian, right? They're all Caucasian. In the Bible, Edomites, all right? Or the children of Esau, right? And for those out there that don't believe that Esau is the Caucasian man, Just go read the Bible dictionary, right? It tells you there. Go read First Maccabees chapter 1, all right? It will tell you that the Edomites or the Caucasian, people of Alexander the Greek, and Ptolemy, and Cassandra, and Lysimachus, all right? The four generals under Alexander the Greek that brought forth the European rule out into the world, all right? Okay? They are a group of Jewish scribes. Keep reading.
There are a group of Jewish scribe scholars who worked from around the end of the 5th.
Hold on, scribes and scholars. Right? That the what?
Who worked from around the end of the 5th.
Around the end of the what? The 5th?
5th to 10th century.
5th to 10th century, right? So they operated, right, or their main operation, right, was between the 5th to 10th century. All right, century. All right, keep going.
Gun. Based primarily in medieval Palestine.
Okay, in medieval Palestine. Okay, keep going. Meaning the medieval, meaning the Dark Ages, meaning the time right before we came over in slave ships, right? So this is pre 1600s, right? So we got a wide gap here. But 50 to the 10th century is to say like the year 500 to year 1000,
right.
All right? And we're talking about the Dark Ages, which is the time when dark people ruled Europe.
That's right.
Right, the Dark Ages, right? That's what they call it, the Dark Ages. The white people say it was the age of ignorance, meaning you was getting chopped up for being gay, or right. You was doing some crime which someone could go to the Bible and then they would chop your arms or kill you or, execute you, right? Mm-hmm. And then there was a new age after that, after the Dark Ages, that the white man called, the oppressor called the Renaissance, right? The Renaissance, a lot of we learned this in school. We didn't know the full depth of what this meant to us, right? You just heard that it was a Renaissance in France, they got freedom or whatever it is for white people, right? But they're not saying white people. The word Renaissance means rebirth, right? The word Renaissance means rebirth, meaning the white people that lost their power in the Roman Empire around 200 AD to the Negroes that was in their armies who rose up in the ranks and dominated the Roman Empire to the point where they call it the Holy Roman Empire, because they wanted to put the laws of the Bible in there, right? To create what the white man would call the age of ignorance. It's the same mindset to white. The white people ain't changed either. You know what I mean? If you're a Democrat in New York and you are, say, so-called a anti-LGBTQ community, right? You're homophobic, as they would say, right? They would call you ignorant. You see what I'm saying? Right. Because you believe in the Bible. Or they'll say, oh, that's the Bible laws, the Bible stuff. That's a long time ago. We're in modern time. We gotta get with this Renaissance. We're gonna get with this democratic way and this Republican way. We're gonna get to this new age way. Not Republican. This democratic way, this liberal way, right? And they call that the Renaissance, meaning white people have now took over Europe again. All right. And I believe it was Thomas Jefferson, who said he didn't want black people to have too much power in America because he doesn't want America to be like Europe. Right. Now, meanwhile, all this time, we thinking that we just all monkeys from Africa. You know what I mean? Not knowing that we was both in Europe and Africa from the time of Christ. Christ told us to flee to the mountains where we can blend in with other dark-skinned people. You read that in the book of Babylon, Timbuktu. We have it here. We'll get it in a few, right? It's in the van? If it's in the van, don't worry about it. Right? If it's back here, it's cool. You know what I mean? But Christ told us to flee to the mountains. That was a commandment in the Bible, right? To the disciples. And we went into Africa to fight Africans to survive. For whoever did listen to Christ, they were mauled to death. Pregnant women mauled to death. You know what I mean? Horses stomping on the pregnant woman. All kind of tortures, cutting the men open. Some brothers who were against Christ went to a place called Mount Masada. Their name was the Isupk. There was a group that was anti-Christ, against Christ. They didn't believe in Christ. They didn't want the leadership of Christ or anything of Christ. They went to a place called Mount Masada, and they all tied themselves up and burnt themselves to death so they don't die from the Romans. All right, we need page, what, 89? We got 84 here. Okay. Also, if there's any questions online, please put them in the YouTube chat. We welcome all questions, friends and enemies. All right. Also, since if you have any questions, just let me know. All right. You want to try to cover your head too, all right? So you want to try to cover, put the thing over the beautiful hairstyle that you got, all right? Okay. All right. Okay, let's do page 84, right? In the year 65 BC, the Roman armies under General Pompey, time, place, leader of the army of the Roman armies, right? He captured Jerusalem. In 70 AD, General Vespasian and his son Titus put an end to the Jewish state. All right, meaning the Israelites' country was now non-functional. You know what I mean? Meaning you no longer had a country at what time? 70 AD. All right, with great slaughter. Right? Why? Because the brothers who didn't obey Christ didn't flee to the mountains like Christ said. Right? So with great slaughter around this time, we was taken up into slavery into the Roman Empire to fight lions and stuff. We had a menorah, right? We had a giant menorah, right? That looked like this. That's why we all got this. Well, we don't got it because of this, right? We got this from the Old Testament, right? This is not from the New Testament, right? We had a giant menorah in our temple. They chopped it down, hauled it out the front, cut it up into little pieces, and then they sold the gold because it was made out of solid gold, right? You go look at something called the Ark of Titus in France. Let's see if I can get it right now, right? And what they did was they took the gold from chopping up the menorah to build what you call today the Roman Colosseum. All right, the Roman Colosseum. See if I get something in it here. Okay. Images of the Roman Colosseum. Okay, come on, internet. Images of the Roman Colosseum.
Here are some pictures that match.
Okay, here we go. Okay. So this, the Roman Colosseum, right? Throw it in the image. The Roman Colosseum, right? Everyone's familiar with the Roman Colosseum. They chopped the menorah up to create the Roman Colosseum. They love this thing. Today they call it one of the the world's 7 wonders, I believe. Right? They had us fight lions in there. Right? I believe there's a movie called The Gladiator. I want to get some history of that movie right there about who the gladiator was that was in there hating what do you call it people again? The Caesar at that time. Right. You know what I mean? Even white people had to respect the gladiator. They made the gladiator the hero and made the Caesar like the punk in the movie. Right? You know what I mean? Because, you know, the person knows that his own people's ways is crooked. Here's another secret. White people hate white people.
Right.
Right? That's the other secret, right? They're not united. All right? Arch of Titus.
Here is information from Wikipedia.
There we go. Okay. Oh, it dropped. Okay, we got it right here. Okay. I believe this thing is in France. Okay. And you see here, right? Here is the Romans at the time carrying out a giant menorah, right? They have this thing in France called the arch. It's like a marble arch. Okay, in England you got something called a marble arch, right? If you go to Grand Army Plaza in Brooklyn, there's a giant arch out there. It looks just like that giant arch that's out in Brooklyn, right? In Grand Army Plaza, right? And here's them carrying the giant menorah, right? You got the whole way to go. You got many men that got to carry it, and they're carrying it out to go out to the chop up to build the Roman Colosseum, all right? Right, and that's history. It's all around us. It's just that you Negroes and Latinos think that you're African, so now all of this history, great history, amazing history, gets pushed to the side, and you don't even know that's you.
Right.
You know what I mean? You go there, you go to France, you want to go visit the Eiffel Tower, and they carry you on a double-decker bus with no roof, and you drive around and they say, this is the Arch of Titus. And you don't even know that history that's in there is related to you. You know what I mean? Because we've been slaves here, right? Okay? Good. During the period of the military governance of Palestine, many outrages and atrocities was committed against the residue of the people, meaning the people that got left back, people that didn't follow Christ. All right? During the period from Pompey to Julius, it has been estimated that over 1 million Jews fled into Africa, fleeing from Rome. Who are the Romans? Romans are the oppressor, white people, right? So, you know, some people say, you know, there's no color in the Bible, there's no race in the Bible. The Romans is the name for white people in the Bible. All right, Roman persecution and slavery. Right, the Romans was taking us into slavery. All right, the slave markets were full of black Jewish slaves. All right, and of course the author is saying Jewish to say the Jews. All right, Jewish is the modern day term that's recognized by academia. So they'll say Jewish, but of course we are not Jewish because ISH means to be like. You know, if I had something that was blackish, it's not black. It looks like black. All right. All right. Okay. There's no questions online, right?
Nah, straight right here.
Good. All right, and that's real black history for you. That no person who claims that they teach black history is going to teach. Okay. All right. So the Masorites, right? They needed to put European vowels, right? Of course, European vowels consist of A, E, I, O, and U, right? Taking you back to second grade, right? We have a wonderful book here called the Biblical Hebrew, a text and workbook, right? Benny Pedrati Kittle, Vicky Hoffer, Rebecca Apps, right? People who are scholars in the Hebrew language. Of course, this is a book from Yale University, nothing that we made up. We didn't make this up. The stuff that we're about to read in here is from the Yale language series from Yale University. And we go to page 1. Hold on. Lesson plans and we call it table of contents. Right? We're going to go to page 1 or page 3. There we go, page 3. Right? We're in page 3. of the same book. You can get this. I believe it might be $100. You got a used one for $60. I look for the one that says very good, right? The used one that says very good. I got it for like $60, right? And it says here, the Hebrew alphabet is the oldest in the world, meaning it was the first language, right? Still in use today, meaning a segment of it was preserved by the Jewish Caucasian man. That's what it means by still in use today, right? Our own alphabet, meaning the English, right? Even concerning the vowels, right? Our own alphabet is a descendant of it by a circuitous route, meaning through different languages. English is there. We're going to go into the breakdown of the alphabet in a minute, all right? But the same letter of the A is from Hebrew. The L is the same in the Hebrew, in the ancient Hebrew. A lot of them are similar, right? The text of the Hebrew Bible we use today reflects several different periods of development. Originally, here we go. Originally, only the consonants were used, right? Meaning there was no so-called A-E-I-O-U. There was no vowels in Hebrew, all right? So when you hear someone saying shalom, or some more Jewish terms, boker tov, right? To say good morning, right? Bawakwa, right? Boker tov, good morning. Or a lot of figures like this they like to say Atala Yehudi, right? There was no U. There was no U. There was no O. Cross that out. There was no U in Yehudi, right? Yehudi, right? There was no E sound to say the I. There was no U sound to say the U. There's no E sound there to say Yehudi, right? There was no vowel used according to Yale University, right? So you can stop accusing the I.S.U.P.K of making up a language called the ancient Hebrew, the Lashawan Qadasdh, because Yale University says so. Now you don't believe Negroes and Spics are here and Latinos, right? You don't believe us, right? No problem. Believe the white man. Believe Yale, right? The college that you wish you could take a couple $100,000 and take your kids to go to university and learn from there. Believe them. Right. Believe their education. Right. Being that you don't believe your own black people, all right? Right? Originally, only the consonants were used. By the time the Israelite kingdoms, some consonants, ya, the wa, and the ha, were used to indicate certain vowels. So they were saying, so what they're saying here is the oppressor, right? The Jewish white man, right? He would take the ha, which is like a ha sound, and turn this into an ah sound. He would take the ya, right, which is like a ya sound, and he would turn this into a I sound, or sometimes even a E sound, right? Good, right? And he would take the wa, right, which is like a wa, right? So, and he would turn this into a O or a U sound, all right? And that is how he would get the Masorites, but this was all in control of the Masorites, and they were the Jewish scribes and scholars. They would put these Hebrew consonants, right, and have them be implemented as vowels within the Hebrew language construct. All right? Okay? Ain't no questions online, right?
Officer Mashamar.
Mashamar, what's going on, man? What's going on, priest? How may we help you today, priest? No, we don't. We were just going over class, so we couldn't find it. All right? We have the prayers, right? We have the Psalm 83, right? Hold on a second. All right? We've been studying for the past week. We've been looking over the anyone can go in the Tanakh, right? And go to Psalm 83. We're familiar with the the Psalms 83. Also, big up to Mashaman, Yashman, and all the other brothers out there in prison. Magically, can't say how, but they in class,
Right.
online on 4G data.
The Lord.
Right? The Lord created 4G data, man. The Lord wants us to be united, man. You know what I mean? The scripture says that gather together, O nation undesired, man. We undesired in prison. We feel them holes, man. You know what I mean? Because we was looking at the hold on, I got you right here, Mashamal, right? We got the Wanakakidam. Right, we got the na right there, right? Kakad means to cut off, right? We got the Nawai Tazawa. I've shared this on Facebook the other day, where we said the word to seek counsel, B'kwash Yaitazar. Yaitazar is the root word for Nawai Tazar, right? Let me write on the board, right? Is there anything else on here that I want? Okay. Oh, right. So the whole basis of this was why we see shalom before we get into that, right? So they instituted the war to say shalom because they were saying shalom. They wanted to say shalom as they had as Europeans use and utilize European vowels. To write that in Hebrew, they would have to add the O into the writing, right? So here's shalom. Shalom is like so. Right? Shalom. Right? This will be shalom. Right? This is shalom myself. Now to get the O sound, to get this O sound right here, they would have to get this, which represents the O, and stick this thing into here, because that is the O, right? So they have to stick this Y in there, like so, right? And so now we have a Y in the middle of shalom. So now a brother, right, who doesn't know Hebrew, came to school back in the day, around in the 90s, and created a division in the school. We say, give me Romans 16:17. But question mark when you can, right? You can't the slides right now? I'll do that as class, man. You know what I mean? Romans 16:17, right? So someone who doesn't know Hebrew, doesn't know the history, doesn't know nothing about no Masorites, nothing about no Jewish scribes, the implementing of these consonants to be used as vowels within white, Caucasian, Jewish language. A brother looked at the Shalawam in the Jewish community and says, look, the Jewish man has been Jewish for over 600 years or 1,000 years from the Qadasdh. And he knows about being Jewish, and we are niggas that came out of slavery. We don't know nothing. The Jewish man has Shalawam. See, you U.P.K. niggas got it wrong. The white man got it right. So we shouldn't be saying shalom. We should be saying shalom or shalawam. We should be saying shalawam. And that is how you get the parts of the house of David. Right. Broke off from the school around 1995. The year that Commander YAHANNA was handed the school by the seven heads at the Passover 1995. A lot of brothers didn't like the demon over the city of New York, whether in the school or out of the school, the demon over the city in the world, right? In the world, being outside of the truth, is to have unbrotherly relationships with your brother in New York City. Friends kill friends in New York City. Right. Blood snitches on blood. People in the blood gangs in New York snitch on other blood gang members. Right? Friends snitching the homies. You get caught with cocaine or whatever it is, your dad or whoever. He had to snitch on his homie to ever see outside again. Right? There's no loyalty in this place called New York City outside of the truth. Yeah, right. All right? So if you're in the school fighting the demon of being unbrotherly, right? The demon of disloyalty, right? Brothers who are fighting to stay in the school will have to fight the demons. The scripture says there's no demon that is uncommon to man, meaning you have to endure till the end. Meaning you have to resist these demons until the day that Christ returns. If you're ever gonna hope to get the kingdom, meaning when Christ come back, you ain't gonna be ash already. You ain't gonna be dead from COVID or from the war that's gonna come or the famine or whatever it is. If you want to survive, you have to obey the priests that the Most High gave you and be with him and love your brothers, man. You know what I mean? Now, some brothers don't want to do that. Some brothers say, we're going to leave the school and start our own religion, start our own doctrine, right? The scripture you got right here is on there, right? Go ahead.
It's the book of Romans, chapter 16, verse 17.
This is the scriptures now. Go ahead.
Now I beseech you, brethren.
What does the word beseech mean? Captain call hammer this into us all the time. The word beseech. Beseech. It means to seek out. Go on.
Urgently.
Seek out and urgently improve. All that is minimized into this one word called beseech. Beseech ye, brethren, seek out and urgently improve, brethren. Go ahead.
Mark them.
Mark them. They ain't the mark of the beast now, right? But it is marking those who do have the mark of the beast. Mark them, keep reading.
Which cause division.
Which cause what?
Which cause division.
The white man is divided. The white man has division. You know what I'm saying? The white man is one of the beasts of the field.
Right.
Mark them that have the mark of the beast. The mark of the beast is not a what did Alex Jones say?
Microchip.
A microchip, a RFID chip. Alex Jones, the neo-Nazi party, right? They believe that there's gonna be a robot technological takeover of mankind, and the RFID chip is the mark of the beast in the Bible. Here's the problem. The Bible is not a white man's book, man.
Yeah, right.
It's not a neo-Nazi's book.
Right.
You can't rely on Alex Jones to teach you the prophecies of the Bible, Revelations.
Right.
You're gonna go to a white man to teach you Revelations, man. Silly, man. Come on now. Right? Mark them, keep reading.
Mark them, which cause divisions.
Mark them which cause divisions. Mark them which cause the split up in the school.
Right.
And by split, we just mean that people that left the truth or people that fell off from believing the doctrine of the Lord or whatever the Lord gave them, they split off from that. Meaning, when you leave the truth, right, you're no longer in the truth. It's just, come on, it's 2 + 2. It's 4, right? Now, you can ask the brothers when they were in the UPK. I'm saying this out there because I know they're watching right now. They watch me all the time. Right? Shalom to you too. We say, Lord be with you. We hope you come back in. You know what I mean? It's not up to me, right? Like they say, we all got our own fight with our demons, right? Well, fight your demons, man.
Right.
You know what I mean? Cut down the pride. Cut down the whatever that calls you to be divided from your brother, right? Keep reading.
And offenses.
And what?
And offenses.
And offenses. A lot of brothers that was in the school before they left the school a long time ago, they had offenses with their brother and they didn't go to counsel to get it fixed. What did Christ say you should do? What the commandment by Christ? Go ahead.
If you have an ought with your brother, to go to him and him alone.
If you have an ought with your brother, if you have an offense given to you by your brother, go to him and him alone. A lot of brothers didn't do that. A lot of brothers was chicken, right? Chicken, right? Right? They were chicken. They're not men of war. They're not bold. They're not brave. They were chicken.
Right.
So instead of getting the situation fixed with their brother, they leave the school, and now you can hear all the bickering from the outside.
Right.
All right. Keep reading. What's the other part of the law?
And if he hear you.
And if he doesn't hear you, okay. If he hears you, you have
gained the brother.
You have gained that brother. Meaning
right.
You'll be back with your brother.
Yeah,
as many brothers left the school and came back. If he doesn't hear you, go to get 2 and 3 witnesses, which would be the council.
Yeah,
you see what I'm saying? If he doesn't hear the witnesses, is brought before the whole congregation, and you treat him like a publican. You treat him like he's a white policeman.
Right.
That's the laws of, that's the rules, the commandments of Christ. Right? That is when he said to love thy neighbor like thyself. That is the thing that upholds loving thy neighbor like thyself. Meaning what? You live next door to your neighbor. Your neighbor is putting the garbage out in front of your doorstep. Right? You don't like it. What are you gonna do? Kill him? What are you gonna do? Ignore it till it just builds up inside you to the point, you know, one day he's walking out the house, you just get your kitchen knife and go ram it up into his chest? No. You gotta talk to him about it. You gotta come to a middle ground, some kind of solution. Right. Right? If he doesn't agree with you, get some other people that are on the outside. Because why? What does the scripture say in Proverbs? All the ways of a man is clean in his own eyes. Right. So sometimes he might actually feel like he is right. Right. Right? And you're gonna know that he might actually feel like he's right. You say like, yo, bro, what are you not seeing? He doesn't see it. Go get other men that can see. Right. You see what I'm saying? And you gotta go to council. To Hall from GMS is still awaiting counsel with Commander YAHANNA, right? He ran from the school in '95. He convinced Head Priest Marshall to leave the school. Head Priest Marshall is now dead. The Lord killed Head Priest Marshall, right? Lord be with him. We pray he come back into life. You know what I mean? Without traitors to convince him or to deceive him, right? But according to the Bible, life and death is by the Most High. Deuteronomy 32 and 39, right? And the Lord killed Head Priest Marshall because he was deceived by brothers who had adverse agendas, man. You know what I mean? And now the Lord kicked them all out of the school like it was the flood of Noah. Right. Started again, right? With a man that remained in the school, which is Commanding General YAHANNA. That's why we got his picture on the wall over there. Yeah, even though he's never here. He hardly come through here. He probably come through here once a year. Doesn't like the picture being up there, right? But he deserves that reverence. Because a lot of men, outside of Commander YAHANNA, all the other brothers that was great, man. We watch videos and adore them. I mean, Head Priest Arya and my gosh, all the brothers that, you know, back in the day, man. You know what I mean? You know, come on, man. All them brothers, General Arya, you know what I mean? Head Priest Qadasdh, man. Shalawam, man. You know what I mean? Come on now. You know what I mean? Brothers, watch them brothers and love them brothers, man. You know what I mean? And they gave it all up. Right. You know what I mean? And suppose Commander General YAHANNA gave it up too. Where would I be? Right. I would have never came here. Right. You know what I mean? I surely be joining no other group that's gonna hate me when I go in there. Right. Another group that's gonna say they want to take my wife. Right. You know what I mean? Come on now. Brothers out there teaching it's okay to rape. Right. You know what I mean? Teach all kinds of things that are adverse of the Bible. Right. You try to bring it to them in the Bible, they say no, get out of here. You know what I mean? Now, where would we be without Commander YAHANNA, man, to preserve this school, man? You see what I'm saying? Preserve the doctrine, man. Or what we say, Bakwash?
Nah, I'm saying, so you're bringing out so heavy and the water to Commander YAHANNA for keeping this truth, man. But the other camps, that sound like the streets. It sound like being outside.
It is just like that. And if you don't believe us, just go over there, right? And you just experience it for yourself and come back and let us know how it is. Big up to Officer Lakami Allah, man. Came out one of them groups. I ain't gonna say which group. Trooper Lakami Allah, right? He can tell us, he can verify the stories. Yeah, right. Big up to Captain Parashia, came out one of them troops. Right. He can verify the story. Who else? My gosh, everybody, right? Big up to Officer Sha'ar, right. Came out of one of them groups, can verify the story. Big up to Captain Shamawa Allah. Right. Came out one of them groups, can verify the stories, man. You know what I mean? Gosh, man, and all big up all the brothers, man. You know what I mean? That saw through all the lies that came back and came in the UPK to be unified with their brothers, man. Yeah, man. You know what I mean? And we are in peace in here, man. You know what I mean? Any more on that today? Was anything else in the air? Question mark? Yeah. Go ahead.
It says, mark them which cause divisions and offenses, contrary to the doctrine which ye have learned.
And this is the rules according to the Lord. If you want to find the truth, you have to find who was running away from the doctrine and where did they learn it? Right. And what doctrine were they running from? Right. And then the Lord can show you who the truth is. Yeah, right. You know what I mean? Knowing you're Israelite does not mean you're in the truth. In this time, the Pharisees and the Sadducees knew they were Israelites. Right. The opposer of Moses, Korah, Dathan, and On, They knew that they were Israelites, but they were not in the truth. To be in the truth, you would have to be rolling with Moses.
Yeah, right.
Moses is who the Lord was with. Moses was a man of the Lord. He was a man of God. And Korah and Dathan and On and the other cat, and I believe it was Nathan, they were not men of the Lord. Right. All right, and they got all of Israelites killed with their different Israelite groups. Come on, man. It's the same thing over and over again in history, man. When are we going to learn better, man? You know what I mean? Any more of that?
And avoid them.
Good night. All right. So that's the Bible. That's Christ. I didn't say to avoid them. Christ said to avoid them. All right. Now, if you're in another Israelite group, right, and you don't believe what we're saying, right, believe the Bible. Yeah. And furthermore, you should live by that also. I don't see Israelite groups out there saying this and following this and saying that they're not saying that we wrong and they're the only truth. When the scripture says there's only one doctrine, which is of the Lord, which is the truth. Yeah, right. You know what I mean? There can only be one doctrine, which everyone else can go contrary to. There's only one doctrine that if you're not with this one, you avoid all the other ones. Right? And if it's not us, then you should be saying it's you. But why are you not saying it's you? Right. Because the whole agenda is, with all of we call them the Israelite summits, is to create a mountain like the Tower of Babel. Right. Where everybody who's indifferent can come together and try to reach up to the Lord with their summit, to really tower over the UPK. But the Lord is not dismayed, all right? All right? We got the Shalom. The Shalawam was another doctrine, right? Contrary to what we have learned. Avoid that. You hear Shalawam, you already know what time it is. Any people out there that say they're Israelites and they're using the O, the E, not the O, the O, yes, the O, the E, the U and all that kind of stuff. They're into Jewish religions. They're not in the truth. Avoid them. That's not the doctrine we have learned. That's not what. That's not even what Yale said you should be looking for. Right. Yale, the book from Yale is trying to tell you what Israelite group you should go to and not go to. Right. Right. The earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof. All right. Okay, good. Let's go get some of the alphabet. Contact the leader for your Hebrew sheet for those who have not got one. Right, he will email it to you. All right. We're gonna break down the alphabet. Right, this is gonna be on the Hebrew sheet also, right? The top line, right? Ancient Hebrew, right? This is the A. Right? Pronounce it A. A is from the word Allah. Allah, right? Which is the word for cow. As this symbol right here is a cow's head. All right? This right here is a cow's head. The next letter is the Ba. Right? Ba is the sound which comes from the word Baya. Right? Which means a tent. Modern day, this is like your house, right? A tent. So this is the figure of a tent, all right? Yeah, also, all right. Right? The next letter is the Ga, right? The Ga, right? And the Ga is from the word Gamal, right? And Gamal is the back of a camel. All right, so this figure of the God is to represent the camel's hump. Right. All right. Abba, God, Da. Right. The next one is the Da. Right. The Da, which is the sound from Dalat, which is the door of a tent, right? So here's a tent, right? Here's a tent, an old school Israelite, Native Indian tent, right? And it's made out of, it could be from not sheep, it could be from cow leather, it could be from branches, right? And in the tent, there's a little door right here, right? And that is how we get the word door, right? Also, the David's name, right? David's name in the Hebrew is Da, Wa, Da, right? In the ancient Hebrew, it would be written as so, Da, Wa, Da, Da, Wa, Da, right? We know that Wa is a preposition for and, right? So let me get Esther. Check 2 Kings 23 and 8.
2 Kings 23 and 8.
Yeah. Right? Every king had a signature that they would use with the Lashawan Qadasdh letters, right? The shield of David is just these two, right? These two dots put on top of each other to create a signature or a signet. It's not, what do people say it is? It's not the mark of the beast. Right. It's not, what do people say it is?
It's the star of David.
It's not the star. It's not the star. They say it's the star of Molech. The star of Molech. Star of Molech doesn't mean this.
It's not a star.
Right? It's not a star. Star in that is the same way. Okay. The book was the compilation of books called the Bible, right? Was translated by I believe it was 66 authorized scholars, authorized by King James. People that are familiar with the culture, right? So you have different adverses or sorts of English that was in there, right? Star of a god is like saying the celebrity of your god. What else is?
I was just thinking.
Is it on this record? Just give me a second, all right? Go. It's like saying a celebrity of your god. So yeah, everyone has seen. You go to a Chinese store. They got the fat. You got the fat god that's in there. You might look at it. Huh? Buddha. Put your hand up, right? It's good, right? Buddha, right? And even she said, Buddha. Here's the thing. The fat guy isn't Buddha, right? The skinny one. the skinny one, right? Is Buddha. The fat one is, I can't remember his name, but the fat one is the star of the god of Buddha. All right? Just like in Christianity, they got the white Jesus who is the star of Christianity, where you have God in heaven, the Son, and the Holy Father. The white Jesus will be the star of their God. All right? So the star of their God doesn't mean actual star. All right? That's just another heresy that people who don't understand the Bible brought up to try and destroy the great legacy of the U.P.K. Probably got paid by some Jesuits somewhere. All right? Go on.
What scripture you
Give me Esther 8 and 8. If you can't find it. I was looking for 1 Kings 23 and 8.
I found that.
You found that? Is it about the king's signature?
Nah.
Check 1 Kings 23 and 8. All right? Give us a second. Yes, yes.
I'm going to get off the topic, but it's like I'm just understanding about the Ashkenazi Jews and how they run there, and we Jews, and they run whatever they world different.
Right.
And I'm saying to myself, Black Wall Street, and they running it too. Like I'm saying to myself, Black Wall Street, we ran Black Wall Street, Black and Spanish, we ran Black Wall Street. And I'm saying to myself, what's going on here? Like, what is two different worlds that's against us or something like that? What's going on? We are Jews, sorry. And then we ran Black Wall Street. It's like a world splitting between I.S.U.P. and Ashkenazi Jews. Like, we Jewish.
Right.
I'm trying to understand.
Right. So that was, one of the greatest crimes a man could ever commit would be identity theft.
Oh,
Right?
that's it.
Identity theft is they running around saying that they us. All right. If you say you us, then you know what I mean. You are eligible to get our house, my car. Like if you say you me, you can walk up with somebody with you can walk into a bank with my ID and say you have the rights to my house, my car, all of my clothes, my favorite pastime items, hobbies. You are eligible to my family. You are eligible, to inherit all of my family jewels, all of my family books, my family records. You say you Jew. If a man says here he is the Jew, and he stole the identity of the Jews, he can say that he can go get our homeland in the Middle East. You know what I mean? All the respect that the Jews would have for the history, all of the relationship ties that the Jews would have with other nations, the ancient pacts. You see what I'm saying? That we would have with anybody else out there, the fear and the respect. You say that you're the Jews, you take that. And I mean, and nobody looks at you as the crooked person who you was, because Amalek, who was the chief tribe of the nation of the Edomite, the Idumean Empire, which is the Romans and the Greeks, right? They grew and split up, and now they all these different peoples. The chief tribe called Amalek, which he said it was the Ashkenazi Jew. They were called the Ashkenazi Jews because the Ashkenazi people were a Japhite people, and white people came in, conquered them, and took their name also. So they always do is, we all know this, right? That the oppressed people are culture vultures, right? So there was a people in Europe called the Ashkenazi, the Scythians, the Lombards, the Goths, the Visigoths, right? The Franks. And they would just go up in there, murder them because they want to rule, because the Lord said that they are blessed by the sword. Because, according to them, Jacob stole their blessing, right? And the blessing that they got by Isaac was that they should be blessed with the sword. So if they're ever going to obtain heaven, they have to go and kill and murder everybody and take what they have. And through all kinds of thievery, the scripture says, when Cain killed Abel, right? That unto his belly he shall live, and he shall eat the dust of the ground. Meaning he has to be a low down, dirty person. That's what it means. And that spirit was eradicated out of the earth in the flood of Noah, and it was brought back in reincarnation into Esau. Right? Two nations shall be born out of the bowels. They're paraphrasing, their manner is different. And Rebecca knew that this is another nation being born out of Esau. The inheritance can't go to Esau. The inheritance has to stay within our family, right? And then Esau later on was come take it, right? He was come, be low down and dirty as his blessing was, to how he would get rich and rule the earth, right? He just did identity theft, right? So he went and killed the Ashkenazi. He says Ashkenazi. Went and killed the Romans, and now he's called the Romans. He went to kill the Greeks, and now he's called the Greeks. Before he was just the Edomians or the Edomites. All right. And today he's now the American, and now he's a Jew, right? And now he's a Briton. The original British people were black. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? A lot of them was us. By the way, I go over this all the time, right? Just for anyone out there who's new, right? The word Britain, right? The word Britain is a transliteration of bar. I'll break it down right? Bar. Yes, we went over earlier how the I is they got the I from using the ya, right? Bar yas. The T was a TH. You have the ain, which is like a wand, right? The wand is used to make in Hebrew, right? Wand, which is you put this at the end of the word. Sometimes if you're making something become a person, place, or thing, right? Or in other words, a noun. You put a wand at the end of any Hebrew word to make it a noun, a person, place, or thing. You have Zebulon, right? He has that in his name. There's a one at the end of Zabalawan. Zabal means to dwell. You put the one there. Now it's the name Zabalawan. Who else? You have Simeon, Shammai one. Shammai means to hear. Shammai one, the same one. Now makes a person, place, or thing. All right. You got places in the Bible, Hebron, and what's the other places? Hebron, Kithon. What's one in the prayer? It says Koyashwan, Kishon, right? You got all those kind of places, right? They just put the one on there to say person, place, or thing. Baryach is the word for covenant. Covenant, right? And they put the one on there to say Baryach one, and that is the origin of the word Britain, because the Israelites was there. King James was a Negro. He was from the tribe of Judah, I believe. The Stuarts meant black.
Right.
You know, it's the same. It's from the same root origin of swarthy. Swarthy means to be black. They took pride in being black. There was something called the Jacobite Wars, when Israelites went to war with white people, which is, in other words, the Scottish people versus the British people, where the white dominated people occupied the lower part of England, and all of the black people was pushed up in the north. We got the scripture where the precept resides, that we will be taken into another land over the waters. We will go to a part where never mankind dwelt, where we can keep our laws and commandments. The native Indians did it when they came over here. We did it going to Scotland. Other brothers did it going to stretch into the western parts of Africa where no African was. And Africans just came and, like fleas and just,
Right.
Just, we always went to slavery by these heathens over and over again. The heathens come from afar. What's the curse of Deuteronomy? There's a people that's going to come from afar, from the other side of the earth. They're not going to care about your, paraphrasing, they're not going to care about your elderly people or your young children. Right? He shall be the head and you shall be the tail. You know what I mean? And now Africans rule West Africa, which when it used to be called, on the maps, it used to be called Negro land. You see what I'm saying? And now Port Yehudi and Port Benjamin and Port Levi is now Sierra Leone and Ivory Coast and all Ghana and different places, Benin and the Oyo tribe and the Aga tribe and the Dahomey tribe. Right? And they just live where we was. All right? And now the Scottish people is now a white. Edinburgh and Glasgow is now a white place. Ain't no Negroes there no more, because they all gone. They've been gathered up on the slave ships at a place called Cowes, England. Right? Cowes in the UK, gathered up there to be carried on the ships to the island of Santon on the west coast of Africa. Right? It's an island that's off of the coast of Africa. You can read about that in the book of Babylon, Timber 2, also, right? By the island of Santon, it was gathered with the brothers in Europe. Brothers that was didn't want to become Catholic, didn't want to turn off the Christianity. In Spain, you have something called the Spanish Inquisition. These are good things to look up. The Spanish Inquisition was a race war. It was a hidden race war. The white man is a snake, so it wasn't up front. It was they kidnap you from your house, put you in a basement, put your arms on a table like this. On a bed, I have a sword, you would come like this, all the stuff you've seen in the horror cartoon stuff you've seen, that was your history. And they'll have your arms and legs stretched out, and they'll have a wheel and they'll pull your arms out till they discombobulate you if you didn't turn Catholic, meaning you have to give up your Israelite culture and be like white people. A lot of us didn't want to do it. Some of us, they left mangled. Others who said, yes, we're going to turn Christian, they put us onto the slave ship, so we go to America to be Christians, all right, and be Catholic, Roman Catholic, all right? And they gather you from Spain, from UK, from Germany, from Nigeria, from Ghana, today modern Nigeria, modern Ghana, Gambia, right? And gather you to the island of Santon, where they put you on the ships to be carried by the winds of the Atlantic Ocean that go in a circular motion like so, right? Right, so it was going to circle. What is that? That's clockwise, right? So the ships will sail to the South America up to the Caribbean, up to North America, and then all of the goods from slavery, which will be, you know, your cotton or your sugar, will be carried back to Liverpool, England, to be exchanged for money. All right, and then they'll take the ships to go back out to Africa and do the whole thing again. Take more slaves from Europe, gather them with these slaves from Africa, carry them over here, make you pick cotton, make you get sugar from sugar cane, and whatever pepper and spices, and carry the goods and all your tea over to the Europe and sell it across the world. All right, and that is how we have rich white countries today: America, England, Spain, Germany, France, Russia. All right. Also, the slaves that were in Russia. All right. Negroes filled up Russia also. Right. We were scattered to the four corners of the earth. You understand the whole idea, right? And they gathered us up. The last slave ship that came to the Americas was from Russia, landed in Louisiana, I believe, in the late 1800s. All right. So there's a lot of things that, you know, we were not taught in your white man's schools, stuff that would not benefit white society for you to know, or you might actually want to get free, like we do in UPK, following Christ.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? Doing the thing that's going to bring him back, because the kingdom comes not with observation. You can't say you're waiting on the kingdom. You have to get your men to go out and gather together on this undesired to go do the things that will bring Christ back. You have to bring Christ back, right? You go to your regular scripture breakdown class on the Thursday to get the whole breakdown of that. This is the Lashawan Friday class. We're gonna do Lashawan. I'm just giving a synopsis. All right. So you can't never say nobody ever told you. Sis.
So they took like two identifications, right?
Yes. On that, we had the scripture right here for you, right? Second Maccabees 7:31. Well, I got it. Oh, you gonna get it real quick?
Second Maccabees 7.
Second Maccabees 7:31. Also, Second Maccabees chapter 7, a powerful story about a sister with her 7 sons. You know what I mean? Yes, you absolutely do know the story about the sister that you know, they rather die than eat pork. I mean, there's a woman with 7 sons that rather be murdered by the Romans, white people, than to eat pork. And now today, Christian black people are using the Bible to say that they should eat pork. Right. So now what happens to these women's sons? They don't care about these women's sons. First of all, Christians don't believe that the book of Maccabees is even valid. So how do you even get to the New Testament without having the introduction of the Romans to your nation in the first place? Right. Silly, just, you know. And they say we brainwashed stock. Well, our brains are being washed from all of the filth from white society, all right? And what you got there?
This is the book of Second Maccabees, chapter 7, right?
7 and 31, go ahead.
Chapter 7, verse 31.
Mm-hmm.
And thou mm-hmm. that has been the author of all mischief.
Now this sister, this black woman, this Judite woman, is saying to the white ruler at the time, the white man at the time, the ruler of that time, the slave master, right? What is she saying?
And thou,
you white people, read.
That has been
the
author of all mischief.
The author of all mischief, all drugs in our neighborhood, all of the black on black crime. They want to say, oh yeah, you can't say nothing about white people killing you because black people kill each other. What is the law saying to this sister right here? That the white man is behind black on black crime.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Everything from the AIDS, all the diseases, the STDs, the homosexuality, the child molestation that goes on in church. Come on, let's name some more. My gosh, the sisters that can't stay with a man, right? The brothers that abuse women, right? What else? The cousins that molested each other in the house. Break up the families, give her a hand. That's right. Break up the families, right? Read it again. You have been a what?
And thou that has been the author of all mischief.
The author of all mischief
against the Hebrews.
Against the Israelites. I mean, I didn't say it. You know what I mean? The sister in the Bible said it. and she was a sister in the Bible. You see what I'm saying? A sister said that the white man was the root of all of this. You know what I mean? She's saying that the oppressor is the devil that the Bible speaks.
That's right.
That is what she's saying. All right? Okay, is there any more on that?
Come on, sir.
Go ahead.
Shall not escape the hands of God.
You're not going to escape. So at the end of all of this, it ain't forgetting about the Most High. I know for a lot of times over the years, to even say this, you know what I mean? It sounds weak. But when you're in the truth, it's actually a very mighty thing. When seeing the thing that we accomplish here in I.S.U.P.K. that nobody else can accomplish. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, man.
Is there any more on that? One more verse. Go ahead. One more verse.
Come. Verse 32.
Uh-huh.
For we suffer.
For we suffer. Why? Keep reading.
Because of our sins.
Because of our sins. So it's not because a Negro saying our neighbor. It's not because he's so great and mighty. It's not really because of him. It's really because of our sins.
Right.
Our transgressions of the laws of God, man, is why we're at the bottom like this. Is why we could even be in a situation to look at the white man like he's so great. For him to have all the technology that he's extracted out of black people's talents and Latinos' talents. You see what I'm saying? It's really because of our sins. It's not because he's anybody special. Right? He's good for murdering and killing.
Right.
You know what I mean? Ain't no great society built on murder and killing. You have a great society because you have us here in this place.
Yeah, man.
Because we are gold and silver to the Lord. The Lord said he's the apple of his eye. And all your life, you go to school and they'll say, oh, this child right here, he's the apple of my eye. It's from the Bible.
Right.
Where the Lord is talking about the Israelites.
Yeah, man.
The Israelites were the apple of God's eyes, man. You know what I mean? And it's because of our sins that we are in this place and we are in the predicament that we are in. Right? So just remember, you know what I mean? For all the brothers out there that's scared to join UPK because you're so scared of white people and you're scared to go in the street and have anybody see your face saying the oppressor is the devil, and to do this brave thing that you brothers out there with all the muscles in the world, all the guns, you know what I mean, all of the flagging and all this thing you do around your neighborhood, terrorizing your own people, you're not brave to go to camp.
Right.
All right, out there. You heard this? Israelite Crips. There's a setup they call the Israelite Crips. But you can't go to camp, man. You know what I mean? You can kill other black people. You can harm other black people. You know what I mean? By the way, you know what I mean? Anybody want to test us? We'll be here Saturday. Welcoming all opposers, all contenders. We welcome debate and confrontation. All right, 125th Street, Lenox Avenue.
Damn right.
You know what I mean? We'll be there tomorrow. All right, anybody who don't like us or love us, you know, come. All right. The har is from Hana, which means to behold. The whole idea is a hand doing this. Behold. Right? All through the scripture, you're going to see the word Hana. Right? Behold. For the curtains. Right? And the hand is doing this portion right here with the fingers. Right? Doing this. And the arm doing that. Behold. All right? And you're going to see Hana a lot. Right? Also with that, we encourage you or implore you to learn the word Hada. Hada is the same thing, where your hand is doing this motion to go put something here or there. All right, put. Hana and Hada, right? Hana is to behold, right? Hada is to put things here. So now we have vocabulary. All right, sis?
They say we used to be around the Egyptian people.
Yeah, we was around the Egyptians a long time before we was around the Egyptian guys on this.
Who said we was right in the wall? We was or they was?
We was doing everything. The whole Egyptian war scarf you see. The Egyptian war scarf, that was from Israelites. Them Africans wasn't wearing no scarves on their head like that. Right. You know what I mean? Putting linen and making scarves and making it blue and gold. Blue was always our favorite color because it's hard to make blue. Right. And gold was a symbol of royalty. You see what I'm saying? And all of the gems, we were the ones that made gems famous. heathens used to look at gems like they were just rocks.
Right.
We were the one who take gems and put into jewelry. They call it, nigga, they call it jewelry. Because you Jew.
Yeah.
Come on now, come on. You know what I mean? Matthew 5:13. How about you got wa, right? The word wa is from wawa.
Yeah, right.
Wawa, which is a fish hook, right? It's a symbol of a fish hook, or it will be the word for a hook, right? So you go fishing, you get a stick, a large prong, right? And you'll get metal prong that come out the front like a fork. And we do, you stand on the rocks, on a big rock, and you look for a fish, and you get the fork, and you throw it in the water and catch the fish. And you know, when you throw it in the water, the weight of the staff drives into the water. You got two prongs, so you might miss the fish if it was a stick by itself. But because the two prongs, right, whenever the fish moves, the prong, one of the prongs is gonna catch it on one of the prongs of the fork. All right, and that is how we would have our fish hook for when we want to go fishing. All right, Hawa za. Right, za. Right, za is from Zayan. Right, Zayan is the word for a weapon. Okay, Hawa za kha. Right, kha. Right. Ha, pronounce as C-H-A-A. Why I say pronounce? Because it's how you say it's the whole effect of saying ha, ha. It's a throat effect. All right? So the scholars and books would write C-H-A-A as a way to define, or, you know, to give you a visualization using the English language of how you say this Hebrew character. All right? As you know, in English, you have the letter C and you have the K. And you go to school, they'll say these two letters are the same sound, except this one has the shorter sound, and this one has the harder sound. Harder sound, right? This letter C is supposed to be this ka right here, right? This K is the other ka that's we're gonna go over in a second, all right? As it, you know, all languages come from the Hebrew, right? I'm gonna leave it on the board for a second, right? Ka is from Kawama. Kawama. Kawama means wall, right? In the origins, we didn't have walls, we had fences. It was used first as a fence, right? The root word for Kawama is to say Kam. Kam is the word for hot. As you make a wall by making dirt hot. You bake bricks. All right, and you bake bricks and you build the wall. All right. So Kawama is rooted in the word Kam. Kam is also the word for the Africans, the nation, the Kam, the Hamites, right? In the English, they'll say ham. Right? Sometimes they'll turn this whole thing into a H, right? You're familiar with the people out there in Negro Harlem that believe that they are Kemites. The word Kemites itself, they say we don't Israelites. They say Israelites never existed. That's what they say. The people that believe that they're Egyptians, the Kemet people, they believe that Israelites never existed. Some of them. They say Moses never existed. They say the Bible never happened. Young Pharaoh said the Bible never happened. When the word Kemet is a Hebrew word, right? Come on, it's silly now, all right? Okay, we have Kam, right? You have, in English, they write it as Ham, right? Ham, right? So the people of Ham in dictionaries will be called Hamites. Even in the Bible, they'll be called Hamites, right? People out there who are scholarly will try to say, instead of saying Ham, they will still apply the Hebrew letters, which is to say Ham, right? And you have Kamya to say Hamites, right? which is this. What I'm writing here is this right here, right? Some people won't say HA, they'll say KHA, right? They'll say KHM, KHA, or they'll say CHA. Or they write just like this, CHAA, right? Or with one A sometimes, or two A sometimes, right? And they'll say Chemite, or Chemite like this, right? Or sometimes, because the European vowel is so interchangeable, instead of KHEM, they'll put KH. Sorry, that's it. What I say? Instead of KHA, they'll put KHE, and it'll be Chemite. And a lot of scholars who study Egyptology, you'll see KHEMITE. And then Negro who don't know no better, who just hate my word of mouth, they'll say Kemet, Kemet. And they'll say, see, we're from Kemet, y'all. We're black, they're black, we're black, Kemet. And that's silly, all right? Yeah, Kemet comes from this, and the word Kemite is this. It's from the people of Ham. The English dictionary will call it Ham. We have the Zondervan's Bible dictionary here. No Zondervan. How we don't get a Zondervan's Bible dictionary here? Yeah.
The Zondervan is usually in the bin.
In the bin for cap. Hold on 1 second, guys. Any questions online? Okay. All right, no problem.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Can you use I to say I?
Huh?
Can you use for I?
I is a preposition, which means I.
But you can't use it if it's not as a preposition, right?
Not formally. Right. Formally, you have to say the anya.
Anya,
right? So a lot of times in the regular speech, you know what I mean, they'll use prepositions and possessives together, right, to show on things like a slang. Right. But other than that, you'd have to say, instead of saying ka to say you have to say atha formally. Yeah. You know what I mean? So you go in the prayers, the Lord's prayers, which comes out of Matthew 6 and 10, right? There's a part where it says la ka, right? La ka, which means to you, right? But formally, you don't say laka, you have to say la ata. All right. What I have here is the Hebrew sheet, right? You contact, you can't be the one of these, you need one of these, right? For those who are joining the school out there in your various cities and states. All right, you need one of these. Your camp leader will email it to you. One time I used to email it to you until too much people joined the school. And I was like, yeah, this is work, man. This is hard work. My fingers is numb. I got things to do. I got the garment department. Contact your camp leader, man. We got to share the burden, all right? Share the burden with all of the priests in the school, all right? All right, good, all right? What else we got here? Okay. What the Bible dictionary will say is that Ham is a progenitor of the dark races. Progenitor means forefather, right? Being the forefather of the dark races, but comma, right? Bold dark letters, capital letters, not the Negroes, right? And here's a clue to who we are. You know, if you never heard it before, that was one of the things that made me realize, oh snap, there is a recorded family tree of the earth. You see what I'm saying? And these Africans are from the people of Ham. And then there are other Asiatic people, meaning people from Asia, right? That are the people of Shem. And you have other people that were in Europe that were Japhites, or people from Japhet. The sons of Noah, everybody on the earth today are descendants of Noah. Right. All right? Ham was a man, right? One of the sons of Noah, right? He gave birth to the African races, who we do not come out of. And mind you, all of these sons of Noah were black, right? The shades of black. Ham being looking like he got cooked in the oven, he was named hot. Right. The word Ham means hot, meaning he was the darkest of the sons. Right. And he didn't like to bathe. Right? And he always smelled like he was hot. And he's just hot. You be running up and down his coat outside. Why you smell like you hot? You're just cooking. Now you just okay. He likes the hotter regions of the earth. Right? Shem was named Shem after the reputation of Noah. Right? Meaning that out of the lineage of Shem will be a people that will maintain the traditions of Noah, which were the commandments of the Most High. Right. All right? To have what? 7 clean animals come on the ship, and 2 are very unclean. Right? We maintain the law, the culture, we maintain the God of Noah. Right? The one people that came out of Shem. So Shem is, everyone knows that Shem means name. The word Shem means name. We say this all the time. We say, Yahweh, Baha Shem. The Shem is the same Shem. Yahweh, which is God's name. Baha Shem, meaning in the name. Yahweh Baha Shem, Yahweh Shai is Christ, right? So we come in the God, we come in by the Most High God in the name or the reputation. Name also means reputation. Don't throw dirt on my name. Don't throw dirt on my reputation. Right. Don't damage my name. Don't damage my family's name. Don't damage my family's reputation. Right. Right? So Shem held the reputation of his forefathers. All right, Shem. All right. Japheth means for brothers that are learning for the officers test, right? Japheth or Japheth sometimes, right? Japheth in the Hebrew is Yapath, right? Yapath, which means to expand, right? Meaning his legacy is going to be the people that go to the further ends of the earth. He's going to go to the parts of Europe and discover Europe. The white man going to come and eradicate him and push him all the way to the furthest part of Asia and out into the Indonesia and all of the Pacific islands. And now they're the Pacific islands. Now they're Hawaiians and Guam, and people looking like, how did these people get here? Why do they feel strange? Because they're these people. Right. All right? They are the people who would inherit the isles of the Gentiles, as the prophecy says in the scriptures. Before they even got there, the Lord said that these people will be the isles of the Gentiles. I believe that's in Genesis 5 or 10? Genesis 10, right? Do we gotta get it? We don't gotta get it. You can get that scripture breakdown class. All right. But that's the name here, Yapath, right? Shem, right? Name. Okay, good. Let's get on with the alphabet. Any more questions online? Your questions, sis? We good?
Yeah, I have a question.
Go.
I'm not trying to question the Most High. Now, how many? You know how, because we disobeyed the Most High,
right?
And our stuff are stripped from us. I hate questioning the Most High. He said you were supposed to question the Most High.
Yeah, the scripture says to not seek out things that are too high for you.
How can I put it into words?
Tell me what's on your mind. Say it.
Like, okay, you know how Esau took a lot of things from us. How long is it going to take us back to get our stuff?
As long as the priests come and do the thing that was commanded of them to uphold their end of the contract. The word contract is also covenant. We went over covenant earlier. The word covenant is a contract, all right? Our forefathers had a blood contract with God. All right? We took, I believe it was a pigeon or something like that, and put the blood all over the altar. And that was our blood contract with the Most High, that if we kept the laws of God, right? If we kept the laws of God, we will be blessed. Right? We'll be blessed. If our people, our sons, our daughters, whether it be 5,000 years ago, 1,000, or today, 2021, if you broke the laws of God, you will be cursed. Your father's going to go to jail, fill Rikers Island, fill Attica, Stormville, fill up Valhalla, you know what I mean? You know, fill up Sing Sing, you know. All your daughters gonna be hoes. They're gonna get AIDS. They're gonna get gonorrhea. They're gonna get syphilis. Your son's gonna be halfway a woman. What's the other curses out there? You're gonna die from COVID-19 with the oppressor. Right? You're gonna get high blood pressure, cancer. Right? Your son's gonna get shot in the street, and the girls too. The girls gonna get shot in the street. The girls gonna get shot by other girls. You see what I'm saying? You're never ever gonna have a family, you know, that American dream you have to get a big house and live happily with your girlfriend and your 2 kids. Right? That ain't gonna happen at all. You hope for it. You're gonna hope to have a lot of money, you're gonna sell drugs, go to jail, or die, or your friend goes snitch and you go to jail. Right? Or you're gonna go to jail and snitch on your friend. Right? Your children get molested. Good night. All the daughters, you know what I mean, they all confused by 14 because someone touching them. You know what I mean? You know, in school or wherever it is. So nobody's eligible to be a decent woman. All the brothers are raised to be to never. The brothers are taught to never ever love a girl. Right? That's a curse. The brothers are taught to never ever love your own woman, man. You know what I mean? That is sad, man. You know what I mean? That's sad. All the women saying that we have no good men. That's sad, man. Sometimes, you know, man, I get hurt sometimes thinking about how the real reality. You know what I mean? Because ain't no Chinese woman saying, ain't no good Chinese men out here. You don't hear no Indian woman saying, ain't no good Indian men out here. Not even white women, knowing how evil white men are. You'll never hear these white men ain't no good. You'll never hear that. You know what I mean? Sisters flock to white men in church. Right? Which is supposed to be the house of God, man. They're gonna tell their sisters, don't get no black man, you're gonna get a white man. You're gonna have a better life. When that's in the Bible, that's against the rules of Moses, you know, Deuteronomy chapter 7. You know, Moses said it. All through the Bible, through there and Nehemiah, Esdras, everywhere. It says to never don't marry no heathen woman, man, a woman outside of your race. Question mark.
I was gonna say if I could, sir. Before Moses, the Lord flooded the earth.
Exactly.
Because of that.
Because the sons of God saw the daughters of men, these regular men, where we were gods, man, meaning we were the power and authority on the earth. You know what I mean? And our people are blessed by the Most High. We were God's people. We were the sons of God. And we saw the daughters of people who were not sons of God. We saw the daughter of regular heathen men. And we thought that they was beautiful, meaning what? Even back then, we looked at a woman like they wasn't the one to have. And sisters did the same thing back. And then, you know what I mean? Everyone on the earth gonna die. You see what I'm saying? Everyone is dead now, and now we have new races on the earth. There's a whole herds of races that you never even heard about that used to exist. That are under the ground somewhere that now are now fossil fuel to put in your car. You see what I'm saying? It's good, it's nice. What's this? What you said?
No, I seen something yesterday.
Go
You ever heard of like Tasmanian people?
Yeah, we just went over the Japanese.
They look like, excuse my French, like monkeys. No, they do. It's like I seen, like yesterday I was looking at them, I'm like, they're black or something?
They're dark-skinned people. They're dark-skinned, and somehow people don't never say that we and them are related. But they're dark-skinned too. You know what I mean? The white man call us monkeys too. You know what I mean? You go to some of them football stadiums in Europe, a brother goes on the field, on the soccer field, they throwing bananas and all kinds of things at the brothers in the field, say, you monkey, you're doing all this. So they call them football or soccer hooligans.
What's their What's their nationality?
Their nationality in the Bible?
Yeah.
Their nationality is the people of Japhet. So we
They're part of us?
Hell no.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's not it. Yeah, you have Ham, Shem, and Japhet. We come out of Shem. The Africans come out of Ham. The Tasmanian people you're talking about it, they come out of Japhet.
Japhet is Chinese?
No. Japhet is the people that are the Tasmanian. The white men call them the Tasmanian devils. Come again? The Pacific Islands.
Oh.
Yeah, Pacific Islands, Hawaiians, and people from Guam and these places, right?
Oh, because I seen one yesterday on YouTube, she was doing the baby's hair. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
they do exist.
They got afros too. Some of them Pacific Islands, they got afros too. All right. Where the letter ta, right, which is tana'a, right. Where this right here is how our foremothers used to weave a basket. They used to get a willow straw, right, which was like a flexible branch that you find in the swamps, and they'll create a circle, right, and create a cross in there with the willow, and they will create baskets by taking other willows and going around in the bottom like this, right? Weave the basket, and you create baskets. Also today, this will be your word for a bag, tana'a, all right? Okay. Abagada, how was up? Ka, ta, ya. Right, the next one is ya. Right? Ya is the word for, it comes from the word yad, which means hand. Right? Hand, so the whole idea is your hand, right? This figure is your hand, like doing like this, right? You have your arm, you have the hand part, you have your arm, and then your upper arm, right? Hand, forearm, upper arm, and the whole idea is to say hand. All right? Now, this is not your arm. The arm in particular is Zarwai, right? Y'all know brother, the Israelite Zarwai out in Philadelphia or Trent, right? Yeah, his name means arm of the Most High, something like that, right? Zarwai means arm, right? But this, the Hebrew letter is from Yah, which means Yah, right? It's just hand, right? Right? Ka, right? So the next one is Ka, right? Which is the figure of a ancient K. Right? So this is where the K in English comes from, right? And this is from Ka, right? Which is the palm of your hand, right? So you all grew up and you've been baffled about what the symbol is in the middle of your hand. What age you do it? At 5, 6 years old, you start looking at your hand like, what the hell is this hand in my hand? Right? Right? Everyone, she's laughing because she don't have it too. Everyone happens to everybody, right?
It must be money. It must be.
Yeah. People say it must be money, right? If it's on itchy, you'll be rich. Right? So this figure that we have as the ka, right, is to represent this symbol in our hand. Right. And that is how we write that's our way of writing like a K, right? The ka sound ka, right? Ka, la. You're right, I don't know myself, keep up with myself. And everything now, right? So the la, right, is from the la sound. It's the same as the L that we have in modern day English in capital, right? The L or the la, right, comes from the Hebrew character here. It's just from lamad, right? Lamad, and the word lamad means to learn or to teach, right? Learn, teach, right? I'll say learn because it's both L's. You might remember it better, all right? In other words, this figure is supposed to be a teaching stick or a beating stick that you would beat a child in school. Hey, I'm not saying you can't beat your kids in school. All the teachers out there, don't beat no kids, all right? Yeah. The law said you can't beat no kids, the parent or nothing like that. But our culture has a beating stick. You smack a child when he's young. Don't abuse him now. I know we got a lot of bad parents out there. I know we curse out there. You know what I mean? That's why you need good fathers. Fathers, they evaluate discipline onto their child. The mother will just be angry and where do you put the remote and doing all this stuff. Got the light on too long, you know what I mean? You don't pay no bills around here. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? There has to be a balance in discipline. Right. Nothing too harsh for something small, and nothing too small for something very harsh. Right. All right. And there's the beating stick to how you teach someone. Whether you target too big, too big for your parents, but life will beat you too. There are police out there with batons. Right. Nowadays they don't use batons; they just use their bare hands. Shoot you now. They gonna pop you, Negro. You know what I mean? Yeah, the police nowadays, he gonna shoot you, man. Straight up. You know what I mean? You gonna go to the hospital, you know, bruises all over. They ask what happened. The police beat you up. You know what I mean? Or you gonna go to jail, or your homie gonna beat you up, man. You out there doing crimes against the Lord. You know what I mean? One way or another, you learn. You get a lesson from the beatings, and you learn by the time what age your brothers in New York start getting it right? About 30? Mm-hmm. About when they get around age 30, brothers in New York start, you know what I mean, start trying to live in peace, avoiding confrontations to things that will send them to jail, and some don't. So some brothers still go up into their 30s and 40s and still get shot and go to jail, all that. All right? Okay. The next one is the Ma. Right? Ma. Let me write it in there. All right? Ma. Right? Which is Mayam. Right? This is the same Mayam from the Mayan Empire. Right? The people whose the prophecy said that they would live. Give me that also. Genesis 49. Right? They shall be haven of the sea. It shall be like a haven of ships and a haven of the sea. Mayam means water. Right? Mayam means water. Also, there's a whole breakdown to this. Right? Ma is a preposition which means of. Right? Yam means sea. Right? Water is something which is from the sea or of the sea. All right? Also, from our homeland, right? We know our homeland, they can't see us, right? Okay, right? In our homeland, where we were in so-called Asia Minor, the Fertile Crescent, right? The sea was always to the west of us, talking about the Mediterranean. So we would say west by saying Yam, right? So Yam, which was the sea, also became our word for west. All right? Everyone knows when we say turn and face the east, when you say Qadam, west is Yam. All right? Okay? Okay? We're not going to go too deep into that. Of course, you got the word heaven, Shamayam. I'm not going to write on the board because that's long, all right? Genesis 49, look around 13 somewhere like that. Go.
Zebulun shall dwell at the haven of the sea.
Zebulun shall dwell at the haven of the sea. People say, oh, how do you know the 12 tribes chart is even real? How do you know it's not in the Bible? Nobody knows what tribe they are. Says who? Where in the Bible it says nobody knows whose tribe they are in the Bible? Right? When the Bible says what? Zebulun to do what?
Shall dwell.
He what?
Shall dwell.
He said shall. Shall meaning in the future, he's going to do what?
Dwell.
He's going to dwell, he's going to live
at the haven of the sea.
At the haven of the sea, where there's a lot of sea around, right? And there are people called the Mayans, right? And they had just happened to be a place where there was a thin piece of land in Central America, and they are in between. They can walk like literally, like what? How long it takes to go from the Atlantic Ocean to the Pacific Ocean? Like an hour, or by car, something like that. By car, it's like an hour. The way you would drive from Manhattan to probably Canarsie, right? Is the line that they got there in the Straits of Panama. Right. And on one side is the Atlantic Ocean, and the other side is the Pacific Ocean. So they are like a haven of the sea. Right. Haven means there's plenty of this thing, right? Haven is plenty, right? Plenty. And if it's not these people, then who else could it be? Who was all? What other people out there who suffer slavery and go through the curse that we go through, right? Are a haven of a sea. Give me a break, right? Keep reading.
And he shall be in haven of ships.
And he shall be for a haven, plenty, right, of ships. Now, According to the law knew that this place was going to be a place where there's going to be ships there all the time in the land. Like, come on now, where is this going to be? This is the Panama Canal, man.
Yeah, right.
Come on, man. Like, let's not be dumb, man. I mean, people are just silly, man. You know what I mean? Like, so we don't know who Zebulon is. Is people really going to say that we don't know who Zebulon is? Give me a break, man. They don't know more than that.
And his border shall be unto Zidon.
And his border shall be unto Zidon. What is Zidon? Zidon was a place called, was a place, was the twin cities, Tyre and Zidon, places of a lot of commerce. You see what I'm saying? A whole lot of goods coming through on them ships. Right? The borders are onto Zidon, meaning this is the place that links one commercial city, right. A lot of goods coming from there, right, to the other place. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? His borders onto Zidon, that's what that means, all right? Zidon was a place where ships would come in and just rack up on the coast of the Mediterranean, right? Canaanite people used to rule Zidon, right? A lot of them was gay, you know what I mean? And there was a lot of commerce going on there, right? So the people of Zebulon are in the midst of all of this commerce just passing through, right? Good, right? And that was, we got that from breaking down Mayam and the sea and all of that, right? What's the next one? The next one is Nah. And the white man says Nah is from Nawan, which means sprout. Right? So a little seed is in the ground, the seed spreads roots. Alright? That's the whole idea of Nawan here, right? So there's a little plant here. Here's the ground, there's grass, and then up top of it will be a little flower, all right? A little flower, right? Right? And this is supposed to be the idea of the roots under the ground sprouting, all right? From a seed, that would be right here. All right, we've all been to a biology class. I believe that's also second grade, something like that. You do that, you get your little sunflower seed, put in some tissue, wet it. All right, with the PS199, you know what I mean? So I'm deep in the truth. PS198, sludge. Good, man. That was the last time we said at our elementary school. All right. I erased the now. What did I do that for? All right, now. For one, that's for those out there in the internet world taking notes. The one is sprout. All right. We're gonna erase the top to get the rest. All right. Anybody missed that? Press rewind. YouTube, all right? Okay. The Manasa I. The Manasa. All right, so Sa. Right? Sa is from Samak. Right? Samak is a word which means establish. Establish, right? The whole idea is, behind this is having a flag. You want to establish your rule over a land or a place or a mountain. You put a flag up there. Of course, the word for flag is also an S word, is swap. Swap is the word for flag, right? Get some vocabulary here, right? And you will put whatever your flag is upon the staff with wood that go across. Is similar to when you see like people in Japanese culture, they'll have a flag that is like this. And they'll have their ching chong writing on there like so. Right? And they'll have a flag like that. Our flag, their flag was taken from our flag. All right? We're the salt of the earth. We got that Matthew 5:13. All right? So the word for establish is based on the word samak, all right?
This is the book of Matthew, chapter 5, verse 13. Ye are the salt of the earth.
Ye are the salt of the earth. Now, keep reading.
But if the salt have lost its savor, wherewith shall it be salted?
Now, if we, who are the salt of the earth, right? If we didn't exist, where would the earth have all of these great inventions that our people contributed to it? Where would the people? Where would the earth have jewelry? You know what I mean? And a jewelry of 12. What else am I missing? A jewelry of 12. A judicial system. Right. You know what I mean? Where would the earth have music at, man? Where would Africans play drums at without the black man creating the drum? Right. Without the Israelite man, the Negro man creating the drum? Right. Where would you have TVs without Puerto Ricans? Where would you have cars without a black man called George Washington Carver that came out of Ohio? Was it Ohio? Ohio. George Washington Carver was a slave, a neuter slave that created the combustion engine, man. You know what I mean? The brothers Patterson and Greenfield down in Pine Bluff, Arkansas, that created the damn train. You wouldn't have no subways without Negroes and slavery in Arkansas. Yeah, right. You know what I mean? Good night, man. The brothers out there in Oklahoma invented the damn aeroplane. Got a big metal thing to lift off for the ground, man.
And if I could, sir.
Yeah.
That's so heavy that you bring that out because the scriptures tell you how we had the jewelry game jumping, man. Like they got all that stuff from us, man. And what's that? Song of Solomon, right? Song of Solomon.
God. You know what I mean? The Song of Solomon, you're damn right, man. He had grills.
Right. Grills and chains.
Grills and chains.
Right.
More it is a chains too, plural.
Yeah, right.
He had more than one chain. He was out there like 2 chains.
If I could,
you know what I mean? Like, it was out there like Mr. T, man. You know what I mean? Go ahead.
This is the book. This is the Song of Solomon.
Yeah.
Chapter 1, verse 10.
God.
Thy cheeks are comely with rows of jewels.
Thy cheeks are comely with rows of jewels. Now your cheeks is in your mouth, right? Mouth is pa, right? Pa is how you say mouth, right? So in his mouth, in his cheekbones, right? There are rows of jewels. Why? Because in your teeth, in your mouth, you have rows. There are 2 rows of teeth. Like so, 1, 2, right? There are rows of jewels because King Solomon had a grill.
Yeah, right.
And you go wear a grill today, they look at you like you're not of God. You're not a Christian. They think Christian means God of God, right? You're just some satanic slave that don't believe in nothing. You're just a criminal, a drug dealer. They think of all things pertaining to crime when you wear a grill, when it was in our culture to wear a grill.
Yeah, right.
You see what I'm saying? That is Negro culture, man. That's biblical culture. The way how Negroes live, man.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? When they're on the right side of the Most High, man. You know what I mean? With wealth and power, man. You know what I mean? Any more on that?
Couple concepts. Thy neck with chains of gold.
Thy neck with chains of gold. Cuban chains and Byzantine chains and chains of all sorts.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? You gonna wear a chain and go to some rest stop off of the highway, they look at you like something wrong with you. Right. You know what I mean? When it's in the Bible that even they love. Here's the secret. Here's the secret, guys. Nobody outside of U.P.K. knows the Bible.
Right.
Christians don't know the Bible.
Yeah, right.
Other Israelite groups breaking down Revelation 1 and 13. His foot was like burnished brass as if it was the They don't know the Bible neither. all that breaking down, pulling out this or pulling out all kinds of scriptures. They don't know the Bible. They never read through it. They don't have those Sabbath service in a lot of their groups. You see what I'm saying?
If I could, sir, did you hear the cat last night on Course of Line say that Christ was albino?
Hey. There was a cat that was on the radio show earlier too. I think it might have been on Clubhouse. It might have been pre-recorded, and they were saying you can't say Christ was black because of the burnished brass because his hair was another color. He said, "Oh, his hair was white, so he was white." Or his face was like lightning. There was a Muslim on YouTube coming against the U.P.K. saying it says Christ's face was like lightning. What color is lightning? Lightning is white. See? So if I use your analogy, dumb man, you don't know don't understand metaphors, man.
Right.
You know what I mean? Don't understand metaphors. You know what I mean? Anybody knows that lightning is an emotion. You know what I'm saying? When you see lightning, you feel something.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? There's a type of energy that's in the air when it's lightning.
Right.
You know what I mean? Here's the problem. It's a black man's book and not you Arabs' book, man.
Yeah, right.
You Arabs can't figure it out. white people can't figure out our book. The same way how we go to your court and we see words like affidavits. Affidavits. What the hell is that?
Oh, we know that.
You know what I mean? Affidavits. What does that even mean? That's white English. You know what I mean? That's white terms. That's the language that's in, you know what I mean? Whatever white court world, in their world they have those words. In our world, we have the way how we talk. So even when we speak English, we ain't gonna say no goddamn affidavit. We gonna say, listen, here's all the things on paper that's against you. Right? Just say rap sheet, man.
Right. Or
just say here's the proceeding of the court today. Go ahead, this was an affidavit. Right. Motions and all kind of stuff. Go ahead.
I was gonna say that General Muhammad said your works.
There you go.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You see what I'm saying? The wall. You know what I mean? I is for iron. Right? This is the figure of your eye. Right? The figure of your eye, right? Is I. The word I in English is from the Hebrew pronunciation of this Hebrew character I, right? We wrote about part of Slav. Part of your mouth, this is the top of your mouth, this is your jaw of your mouth coming down, all right? Part, right? Part, P-A-H is how you pronounce or say or write in the Hebrew. Of course, you know, write anything in the Hebrew, you put the pa with the H, right? So you put the connectors to say pa. Right? You apply that, you want to use a Hebrew sheet, use the letters in the Hebrew sheet and try to write all of what we have here in your notes, all right? And try to write them out in the ancient Hebrew. If I do it, I ain't got enough space on the board. We need a bigger board. We need a bigger school, man.
Yeah,
pay your tithes, man.
Yeah, right.
God, that it's in the law, man. It's for your own benefit, man. You know what I mean? Commander YAHANNA is a man worthy of it. Because he don't buy no Bentley with your money. He goes and feeds Mexicans. He goes and feeds Haitians on the border. Where's the Kentucky? Where's the Mission to Kuna? Slovakia. You see what I'm saying? Slovakia, forgive me for question, my friend. Y'all go get a ladder, man. Put it back up. You know what I mean? Y'all, you know what I mean? Here's where your tithes money go. He go get soldiers, man. You know what I mean? Gets a truck. Go buy a truck. And go deliver food to brothers who need it, man, in time of urgency, man. Yeah, right. When all of America was not even doing it, man. No, all these churches out there, all these other black groups that say they love black people, you know what I mean? Couldn't do what the I.S.U.P.K did, man. You know what I mean? But with our tithes, with my tithes, you know what I mean? I have my hand in that. And if you pay your tithes too, you wear your hand in some good works out there, man. Yeah, right. You know what I mean? We ain't no goddamn church, man. Buying houses in New Jersey and weird stuff like that, man. Right. You know what I mean? Buying no Bentleys on no weird stuff like that. These parents still carrying these kids on trips, molesting them on some trip in Africa somewhere. Molesting them, having some boys out in Africa. We ain't, you know what I mean? It's a different kind of caliber in U.K., man. Yeah, right. You know what I mean? Most time Christ, man. Okay? Pa Tazan.
So you got two questions.
God.
Pagaiba warrior, how would the
what? Pagaiba?
Pagaiba.
His name is Pagaiba? Okay, Pagaiba means fall on him.
I know.
That's all. God.
Is it W? Is B-A-W or
it's
B-A-W-A?
It's Pagai. So Pagai, yeah. P-A-G-A-I. Yeah. It's fall, right? It's fall. Fall, right? And then you have. But beside it separately, you have Ba, Wa.
Ba, Wa, right?
Ba, Wa. So Ba is in or on, and then Wa is him. Right? Pagaiba, fall on him. All right, you're writing it. My mind is in the ancient Hebrew right now. Pagai, and then you have the Ba, and then you have the Wa. Right? We were like so. All right? Assyrian Hebrew. Pa, Ga, right? Good. How do you write I again?
Other way. You had it.
The other way, right? Yeah. It's like so. There you go. Pagai, right? And then Ba, and then Wa. Right? So that would be Pagaiboa in the Assyrian Hebrew, so-called the modern Hebrew, right? Ancient Hebrew, right? And it's a good thing we bringing us on board. Watch this. It's a good thing we bring us up too, because now the ba and the wa, the ba is the preposition, right? The wa is the possessive. When you're reading it in the scriptures, possessives and prepositions are written together. Possessives and prepositions are never written by themselves. It's not like English, where you put a space between the ba and ha. I put a dash here so everybody can make the distinction. Right. I see a lot of people can't make the distinction, or you see the scriptures, want to cock you down, no because you can't really distinguish what is what. Right. So you have to know and be prepared in your mind that anything more than 3 letters, when you're reading in Hebrew, is some kind of tense, some kind of preposition, right, or some kind of possessive that's added on to it. Right. Everything, all the words in Hebrew is about either 2 or 3 letters. Yeah, right. If you see a Y in here, like we went over earlier, that's the ing in there. Right. You see a ya in the middle, that's the past tense, like an ed in there. Right. You see a ha, ka, ma at the beginning, a ba at the beginning, right? That's the prepositions. You see a ya, ka, or a ma, ha at the end of the word. Those are possessives. So when you see a word, you go up there and you see a wa, na, ka, wa, na, ka, ya, dum, ya, right? Right, you see something like this. You over there looking like, oh my God, that's a big word. I can't. What the hell does that say? Right. So I put the ancient car right here, the regular car like so. It's a long word. What the hell does that say? I can't really read it. You know what I mean? You just break it down, man. You know what I mean? You take off one preposition, the other preposition. You know what I mean? That dumb right here is a shortening for the hum. Right. Right. Which would be like a hum like that. Right, take off that, which is to say they, right? You take out the past tense, and then you're left with card, which means cut off. We went over that earlier. Right. You see what I'm saying? You gotta break it down, right? Break it down. We gotta get in the culture and get familiar with breaking things down. Every Hebrew word is based or consists of 3 Hebrew letters, or 2 such as sham. We went over Sham earlier, right? We went over Sham, name. We went over Hum earlier. Hot. What's the one he said? Id means until. Id, right? That's the ancient, right? The other way, right? Slacking. Id, right? Which means until. Right, until, sometimes moreover, iwad, moreover, until, furthermore, so forth. Until this is a word that's always referring to time. Right. All right, right. So we got ID, right? Good, right? So 2 letters, 3 letters, right? Everything else, prepositions, possessives, tenses. Get used to it. All right. Good, right? Where we at? We need more space on the board, man. Come again? Qua. Taza, we gotta get the Taza first, right? What was Pagaiboa's question?
Oh, we said Shalawam. Shalawam, I don't want. Flag is Sawap.
Good. There's a brother in the school called Swapi Alam out in the Virgin Islands in school, right? Tell me which one of the Virgin Islands it is. The U.S. Virgin Islands. Right? His name is Sawapi Allah. His name means flag of the Most High, something like that, right? Flag of the Most High, right? This is supposed to be a man on his side. Right? Taza Aid. Right? Right? It's supposed to say side. Right? We already know the word Tazad. Means hunt. We used to teach that before, right? For vocabulary sake, Taza'id, side. Right? I might need to check that one there too.
Taza I is March, right?
Huh?
Taza I.
Taza I is what?
March, right?
Taza Qadasdh, Taza I. Is that this one here?
No, it's not I, it's Taza I.
Taza I. Let's check that one too. We want March, right? Okay, well, bear with me 1 second, y'all. What tab you go? You on here. Better. What was this question again?
He asked you a flag whistle up.
Okay, what was the other question? I mean, you got two, right?
It was from Marshall. He took it down. He did ask him for a scripture, but he removed the comment.
Okay. Taza I. Hold on. No, this is the March, which is Taza I. Right? So this is not it. Taza I is March. Put that down here. Taza I is March. Okay. Now we need side. What's side again? They call the damn thing a side. That's what the white man call it. The white man call it this figure right here. He calls it a sade, right? And it's supposed to maybe it's just Qadasdh, right? Well, let me check again. We got 165.4. Yeah, there we go. It's just Qadasdh, right? It wasn't Qadasdh, it's just Qadasdh. Qadasdh is side. All right. So you're gonna remember that one. And when he says Sade, what the white man is trying to say is Qadasdh. All right. As a matter of fact, hey, how about that? How about we look up Sade? Okay. The Japanese call it the Supana. The Japanese call it the Su. Of course, this is a Hebrew character that has. This is Japanese, right? This is Japanese in Japanese, right? Right. This every Hebrew character, they have their own unique sounds, and it's a one unison sound, right? So you go into a Chinese store, you say, I want a General's torso chicken, right? Right, because you go to the Chinese store, and the Chinese man has TSO up in there, right? We in English, we're slaves in America, right? So being that we're slaves in America, we're not equipped with certain sounds and alphabets. So when we see TSO, we don't think to make the sound of sa, or in this case, so, right? We spell it out with our English slave language. So we say so. And I want hi, can I have the General's toso chicken? Do you want General toso chicken? And you go back and ching chang chung so chi. Oh, so I know a little Chinese. Can't remember how to say he. Want is yao. So say yao so chi. Right? And so is whatever general or whatever it is, and chi, what they spell QI is chicken, right? So chi, right? So, right, is the same as the sa, right? So the sound for this is sa, but we're slaves in America, so I have to teach you that it is taza, so you can get the understanding of the sound as newborn babes trying to speak any language to explain to you. This is a ta and za sound together, right? Ta and a za sound together, it's sa, right? I believe they're showing this book right here, right? We go to page 1, the same book from Yale, right? The biblical Hebrew text and workbook, right? I believe it's page 1. Okay, there you go, right? And it's right here. Here's the Tazar right here. The Tazar is mostly closely approximated in English by the sound of a T and a S, as in hits. Hit. Can you see this online? Right? Hits. Right? So you got a T and S right here, which is the sound for the Tazar. Right? According to the book. Right? So, you know. Right? Scholars will call this the Sade. Japanese call it the Tsukana, right? And it's in many Shemite languages, right? This is the figuratory sound which is in many Shemite languages, all right? Okay. Is there anything else I want to bring on this? What am I missing on this? Let's keep moving, right? Okay. I Kwa Rasha. Right? So we have Kwa. Next one is the Kwa. The Kwa, which is for Kwawash. The white men don't know this, by the way. You go into any scholarly book, he doesn't know what this thing is, right? Kwawash is a snare or a trap. Right? A snare or a trap. Right? Hey Google. Hold on. Ancient Egyptian mousetrap. Yeah, let me know what time it was the question. Ancient Egyptian mousetrap.
I found these results.
Okay, here we go. Okay, I can't zoom it on, right? Okay, here it is though. Right, if you can see this thing up close right here. Can you see this right here? This is the Kwa right here. Right, this is how they had the, oh, slack it, hold on. Let's stop the rotation right here. Okay, here we go, right? This is the ancient Egyptian mousetrap right here. It was just a trap, right? Similar. The modern day mousetrap is made the same way. You see what I'm saying? I don't know if y'all can see it right here, right? This thing right here is the Kwa, right? See right there? That thing right there, right? It's the same Kwa we're drawing right here. All right? Okay? We're upon the time, so let's run through this. Kwa, Ra, right? Ra is for Ra'ash. Ra'ash, which is a head. All right? Write that out. Ra, Ah, Sha, Ra'ash. Right? Kwa, Ra, Sha. Right? Sha is for, write that better. Sha is for Shan, which is teeth. So you're gonna draw two front teeth. Right? Sha is for Shan, which is how you say teeth. This is.
With the Hebrew, our language, the Hebrew words is what we seen in ancient days, something like that.
Yeah. Basically, they call these pictographs, right? They call all this stuff that we're looking at here, they call them pictographs. So everything we have here is some picture or depiction of something that we would use in our everyday life. meaning what? Your forefathers and foremothers created the mousetrap for us to draw a mousetrap. And we had our language before Egypt. So they can have an ancient Egyptian mousetrap because the Israelites were the slaves in Egypt. And just like how America stole your people's cars, well, they didn't steal it, right? They mass manufactured your inventions, right? Today, right? What?
They stole the patents.
They stole the patent. Give me a, yes, that's true. That's true. They stole all the patents. The light bulb, what's his name? Who's Thomas Edison, right? A brother called Louis Lattimore invented the light inside the light bulb. Right. Thomas Edison mass manufactured the glass to go around it and say, look, I invented the light bulb. Right. You see what I'm saying? You can have no light in the light bulb without the filament. Right. Louis Lattimore was a black man that created the filament. You don't believe me? Look it up. Yeah, all right. Shan's teeth, right? Right, two front teeth or two animals' teeth, sharp teeth, right? Tha is thou, which is the same thou as in a mark. It's how you say a mark, X marks the spot, right? Mark of the beast. In Ezekiel, the mark of the Most High. We read in Romans, mark those that cause division. Mark, thou, right? And with that, I pass the class to Officer 500 the question mark, all right?
Clap it up for the class.
Right. Go.
I.S.U.P.K. security announcements. We are the I.S.U.P.K. Start out of 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York. Rule for new brother and sister. When a new brother or sister comes into the school, they are off limit for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves with the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak. There's another 6 months in which the brother and sister will court each other. After this 6-month period, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment. Numbers chapter 18, verse 21. Malachi chapter 3, verse 8 through 10 means 10th in the Hebrew, ma'ashara. 10% of every penny of every increase the Lord gives you, give to the treasury department or teacher. Yeah. Priest fund, free will offering for a priest, not mandatory. Whatsoever amount you would like. Upcoming holy convocations. Always check the back of your bulletin boards in your school to see what the upcoming holy convocations is. And if anybody, is November 28th.
Right, that's the
November 28th. Convocation, sir.
Hanukkah will be going to either, we ain't decided yet. We're gonna go to either the gun range,
right,
or the museum downtown on Central Park West. Right? Okay, we're thinking of going to the museum on Central Park West for parade.
Right.
We might go, okay. Hanukkah is when we celebrate our defeating of the Greeks. So the time we're going to war with the white man, we won by the Most High. So we're going to go to the gun range and shoot all kind of images of white religions.
Why not?
All right, why not do it? All right. And go ahead.
All right. If anybody wants to be a trooper in the school, start wearing all black boots, pants, shirt, headband, scarf. And with that, men of Israel, we say, Majah. We're going to give one courtesy salute. Men of Israel, Majah Shabbat. Majah. Rock. Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shabbat. Yahweh So face the sisters. Sisters Amajim. We're going to give one courtesy salute to the sisters. Amajim, we stand. Men of Israel, Amajim Shabbat. Amajim. Rock. Yahweh Shema Al Hashem Al. Say Yahweh. Shema Al Atan. Hashem. Yahusha. Yajmatah, dismissed.
I tried to say that here over there in this place.